morning, good afternoon, Igor.
Yeah. Hi guys. How are you?
Uh, we are very excited about the second day of the conference. And how are you today?
Yeah, never better. I'm also
No,
excited to be here.
that's very energetic. What topic have you prepared for us today?
Yeah, so actually I'm gonna talk about continuous delivery with Spinnaker.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. Guys, please type your questions to Igor in the chat or he can join the Q&A session after the talk. And now I welcome you to start.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining my talk. I really appreciate it. So let's roll because we have just 50 minutes, I believe. Okay, let's start. So I am Igor Dmitriev. I have been working in IT field for like 8 years, like give or take. So my current role is engineering manager and solution architect at SPD Ukraine. And I also took part as a speaker at different IT conferences. And like in overall, I like sharing my knowledge, and it's really a pleasure to be like part of Ukrainian IT community, not just Ukrainian IT community, right? And if you would like to reach me out, you can do it at least via like LinkedIn and Facebook. Here are my contacts. So let's roll. First thing first, like let me add you some context. So currently, as I already mentioned, the company I work for is called SPD Ukraine, sourcing company, and one of our clients is Morningstar. So it's like a leading and really biggest company for like investment research and and stuff like this. So when by the way, one interesting fact for you is that if you go to Google and try to Google like 20 USD to euro, you can see like it says data provided with Morningstar. Yeah. So and actually like we have relatively new applications. They're all like mostly monoliths. So and maybe the oldest project that we have is like 2 years old. So and we try to follow no-ops culture. We don't have any DevOps engineer, and to be honest, I believe that in the era of managed services, like we have platform as service and infrastructure as a service. So I don't think like it really makes sense, and it shouldn't exist. Like I'm talking about DevOps as a position, as a role. Guys, try to be an engineer. So it doesn't make sense to like all this stuff, because we are all engineers, and our main goal is to solve business problems. All the story, like when we have a ops like guys, some dev guys, and they like focus on different aspects, right, and different priorities, and they have a conflict by a reason, like just get rid of ops guys, no ops, no problems. So that's the way how we work, and this is the culture that we try to follow. So and right, as I already mentioned, that our main goal is to deliver like a business value, right? And in order to do that, we need to to have a motivation and have a great and get a really great tool to do that, to deliver our code, right? And let's talk about some company constraints, because we have company constraints and user security and etc. So and currently we have a standardized tool. It's called like Jenkins build tool that we actually use to commonly at Morningstar, and we are in cloud. It's all on AWS. So and what are the requirements to that like continuous delivery tool? Yeah. So like automation is the key, right? I would like to have this ability to click the button, and I want to get my code deployed to some like environment, like station, production, anyway. And if something goes wrong, I would like to easily revert it. And it would be nice to have to deploy a custom version, just to select a tag or some version, right? It would be really nice. And everything should be scripted, because I don't want to manage it through UI, because nowadays it's really like kind of really hard to manage. And it must be secure and not expensive. I don't want to spend a lot of time and money on doing this. And it should be available and stable, right? This is really important, because I don't want to personally manage the stuff, because I'm lazy, I don't want to manage the CI tool. And yeah, you may ask questions. So we have Jenkins, right? Why can't we use it? Jenkins is mostly like great in talking about CI stuff, because yeah, it's great, but it's mostly like script based, because you need to manage all this, your custom scripts and etc. That's why it's not really suitable like for us. And okay, that's here. Spinnaker comes to the rescue. So what is Spinnaker? Yeah, we just decided to try it out. Why not? And Spinnaker is a multi-cloud continuous delivery platform. You can deploy your application to AWS, to GCP, to Kubernetes, to Oracle Cloud, and etc. It was originally invented by Netflix, and like the idea that Spinnaker builds on Netflix experience, right? And you can just take this tool and and do the same stuff as Netflix do, and you can just work in the same manner with minimal effort. That's really great. And it has built-in deployment best practices. That's really also important because I just need to follow this best practice, and that's it. And it has integrations like continuous CI, continuous integrations like Travis CI or like Jenkins, right? You can also integrate it with a Docker registry. It also has some messaging integrations like Slack, Twilio, and monitoring like Datadog, New Relic. So it's really great that you can integrate the Spinnaker with many different applications. It also has House Monkey and role-based access, and it's open source. So it's super awesome. Yeah, because I really love personally open source, and it has a big community, and community is getting bigger and bigger. So, and there are a lot of companies that are already using it. So you may see just a small amount of those companies, and you can say, okay, those companies are using it, and that's why it's worth using it as well, right? It's kind of this is the way how it should work, I believe, right? Because and okay, I think that's a time for demo. Let's get our hands dirty with Spinnaker. And today I'm going to show you a small demo with SprintPad Clinic. I believe most of you must have heard about that. That is a pet project of Spring. So let's go. Okay, so I have a Spinnaker deployed here. Let's log into Spinnaker. Okay, this is a home page, right? I log into Spinnaker. We have application, everything from applications. So we have a pet clinic application. Let's go there, and it takes me to the cluster. I will, let you know what is a bit later. So let's take a look about, it has some menu on the left side, pipelines, clusters, load balancer, firewalls, tasking, etc. So, everything you should do, before you start using Spinnaker, you should create some infrastructure. We use Terraform for that purpose, and all you need is just to create a load balancer. If I go to my project here, and tells you, by the way, everything that I'm going to show you today is on GitHub. So you can just, check out the project and repeat everything by yourself. So we have a load balancer, right? And we use Terraform to provision our infrastructure. If I go here to infrastructure folder, we have Terraform, we have modules, and we have load balancer. If I go here, you can see that, if you name name of your load balancer starts with the name of your application, it will be accessible in Spinnaker. That's the way how it works. And okay, so then let's go to pipelines. So as you can see, I have something already here, just to economize time. And let's take a look at this. Okay, I have a deploy to staging pipeline. So, where you can see there are all different stages, and let's start from configuration. This is a way how you can trigger your pipeline. So as you can see, there is an automated trigger section. And I just would like to listen for some Jenkins job. You can see, there are different types, by the way. You can just enter some Artifactory, cron job, this can be triggered from pops up from webhook and Docker registry and so on. I have a Jenkins, as I already said that we use Jenkins for CI. Yeah, let's take a look at that. We have Jenkins, and we have only one job here. It's called publish artifact. And, it's kind of the way how it's connected. And, you can also get some context from that job. You can, to use some parameters from Jenkins here. This is how I integrated the stuff. I just try to get some parameters from build properties file. So let's try to change something. If I go to my load balancer and show you my application here. So as you can see, I'm already here. I have home page, I have some owners. I can just route owners by last name, I believe. Yeah. And, let's change some like welcome message. Okay, pretty simple, it's typical. Okay, welcome page. So let's change it. Welcome Devoxx 2020. Okay, let's push it to master. So never do this on production, but anyway, I'm home alone. I can do this. Like welcome Devoxx. Commit push. Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna change welcome message. So as you can see, let's refresh. So this like pipeline is gonna be kicked off because I have a webhook configured here. You can see my pipeline's running. So what do I have here? I have a like checkout project stage. Like then I just release some jar artifact. I create a git tag just to link my like code repository with an artifact. I build a jar and then I build a RPM package. So basically, currently I'm going to show you a demo how to deploy to EC2 machines. But yeah, just a heads up. So I'm also going to show you like Kubernetes integration as well. So hipsters don't leave. Yeah, that's going to be part of my presentation. So we built a jar. So then I would like to pack an RPM package. This kind of a native OS image. So I'm going to deploy my application to a Linux machine. And that's why I want to install it as in a native OS image. Then I need to archive this RPM package in order to be accessible to Spinnaker and publish artifact to some YAM repository hosted on S3. So, and let's get back to the stuff. We have this configuration. I think it's clear. And what's next? We have create AMI a new AMI to deploy. It's a bake stage, as you can see. You have bake stage. So here is how you can configure your backend stuff. So basically, Spinnaker leverages Packer. It's HashiCorp Packer tool. It's really great, to bake some, to create some AMIs, and you should specify regions that you would like to deploy. So currently, we deploy to multiple regions because we have this fellow routing policy, Role 53 routing policy. We deploy to multiple regions. And you can, some bake your AMI and share it across, in different environments. You need to specify some basic parameters like package type, and some additional parameters like YAM repository. And let me show you how you should integrate your Spring Boot application with Spinnaker and all this stuff. If I go to my backend folder, we have I use Gradle. So here is I'm using Nebula. That's actually a plugin that was created by Netflix. It's created to to let you create a RPM package, like a Debian package. As you can see, I have a package configuration here. You can specify package name, pet clinic. As you can see, the same as here. You can do some description, like operation system, like Linux architecture, type, release version, etc., etc. And you also need to add some configuration file. Here, we use systemd. So guys, no worries, it's sounds insane. But this is a way how you can create a service from your jar. So you just need to specify some parameters like on failure start and etc. How to run your application and so on and so on. And you can also add some additional files to that RPM package. So it's kind of like Spinnaker. Just needs to use it to install on your machine. So you can wrap your jar and add some additional files. For instance, we add also new relic config files to that package. So if I get back here, this is the way how you can configure that Packer configuration. Let's move on. So here we have deploy. So by the way, as you can see, I have some notification here. So as you can see that my pipeline has been triggered by Jenkins because I have this trigger enabled here. So as you can see, it's running. And how to deploy my application. So here's the deploy stage. I can add some deploy configurations. This nice UI pops up. So you just actually need to select your account. And by the way, this is a very powerful feature of Spinnaker because you can just have, Spinnaker is actually and add like kind of a centralized view to all your like application, application-centric view. So it means that you can have access to your applications to different environments, because you may have like two different AWS accounts. And like we have non-prod and prod, and you may have like centralized view to all your infrastructure. And Spinnaker just tries to abstract on this stuff. Like it kind of provides you ability to view on your like kind of your like environment from application perspective, not from like infrastructure. So easy, you can just need to specify the regions that you would like to deploy to, some account, subnet, some stack, etc. Strategies. This is really powerful because you can select deployment strategy, like Highlander or Red Black. It's commonly named as blue green. And you need to add some parameters like load balancer, like firewalls, instance type, some additional configurations like user data, key name, and etc. So I think we're done with it. So the next step that we added is just wait. So why do we need to wait for some time? So actually, whenever you deploy your applications, so if you're using like blue-green deployment, it means that you will have a new version of your application at the same time. You'll have two versions, and you need to make sure that everything works as expected, right? You don't have any outages, any bugs. You just need to make sure that everything is fine, and then you can just destroy your blue environment. That's like why we need this wait. So, and you can add some additional stages, like you can trigger some Jenkins jobs. For instance, you would like to run your end-to-end test or something like this against like pre-prod environment, something like this. You can also add some manual judgment. If it's used like for security purpose, I don't think it's really available because we don't use it. Why should we restrict someone to deploy my application to production, etc. I think if you have it, you have a flow in your process, because in our like teams, everyone can deploy to production. Okay, remove the stage. We just need to wait, and then the last stage is that you would like to destroy the previous environment, all the service group. It means that you would like to destroy the blue environment. Okay, let's take a look at the stuff. What's going on? Oh my God, this failed. I didn't expect that. And ball. Yeah, it's really nice. Demo purpose, yeah. Okay, let's try to rerun it. Instance. Yeah, by the way, this is the way how you can specify the specific versions that you would like to deploy for Bake. It's really weird, but as you can see, this is like how your build bake stage looks like. So these logs are retrieved from Packer. It's really weird, server internal roles, something like that. I have never seen it before. So anyway, so I think it doesn't make sense to show you, but I can prove that I had some successful deployments. And so, okay, what else? So if I go to infrastructure or to cluster environments, this is how you can get all your information about your infrastructure. This is like in a way how your developers can jump on this like page and see what is actually currently deployed in your environment. So Spinnaker is not just like tool to deploy application. It provides, as I said, application-centric view that if I just click on it, you can see which version is deployed. I can click on the build, it takes me to the corresponding Jenkins job. I can see, everything's here. And, it's like Spinnaker versions, all stuff for revert purpose. I can go in here and you can see some launch configuration to see like what is image ID, image names, instance type, and user data. I click here, so everything is here. It's nice. And yeah, I can see some like commit message version. So it's really nice because I can go to Git and check out the version and just match it, build link, and etc. So, and by the way, there are some additional features. Let me just check to deploy. If you can also restrict the execution of your pipelines. There is a restriction execution specific time windows. You can, for instance, you don't want to have your application deployed like, at night maybe, because you just need to make sure it's can be down and you just want to sleep well. You can just say, okay, I would like to restrict it, restriction window, So I only want to allow to deploy my application from like 1 to like 4, right? Or like 6. That's okay. I don't want to do this. Okay, 1 second. Let me check if I didn't miss anything. Tag Nebula, follow Packer, Green, window, Nebula, customs page, cluster built on 4. Yeah, execution pipelines. I don't want to change it. It's running. So, and here you can see, you know, like your like bakery details already set, right? Which versions. And if I go to deploy, for instance, let me show you here. You know, Spinnaker actually really transparent. You can see everything the Spinnaker is doing under the hood. If I go to task status, you can see, you know, what's happening. You know, it has like false, cache refresh, wait for up instancing, and so on, so on. You can also take it to the source link and get some additional logs here and see some status, deployment, and so on, so on. Okay, execution pipeline. And maybe the last thing that I need to show you is that, you know, currently I configured everything like manually through UI. So, but that's not cool, right? And I can actually have it as a code. Let's go to, we have a pipelines. If I go here to deploy to staging, I can have this like export as a pipeline as template. So when everything is fully configured, you know, it makes sense to manage everything as a code after that, right? You like, you know, you just need to configure UI to make sure it's working, and then you can create a, you know, it's like a script. Let's go and name it properly, deploy to EC2. And click save. Okay, it's saved. So, and which is really great is that you can share it with other teams. That's what we do, because we are the first team to monitor stars that started using Spinnaker. And when, you know, we got the hang of it, you know, like we just shared our knowledge to different teams, and they started also using it. So that's really powerful. And okay. So, and okay, I just showed you that we can deploy it to stage. And what if I need, oh, by the way, it's, you know, as you can see, successful. So now, as you can see, if I go to cluster, as you can see, new version is going to be here. Let's just refresh. Oh, yeah, here we go. So you can see now it has some intermediate state, so it's not green. So, and actually, how can I revert? You know, what if, you know, something went wrong and I realize that my application is down and must be, you know, revert, and I get some notification from, you know, from PagerDuty or something, I can click on the old version, right, and click rollback. You know, it actually is, you know, you will have this all revisions and all available server groups here. And you can just add some reason, you know, like failed, and click submit. So that's it. And what if I need to deploy to production, right? Because I have like, you know, non-prod account and have like pipeline to deploy to staging, but yeah, and he's, you know, having one account, and I would like to deploy my application to production. How can I do that? So I can create a new pipeline, deploy to production, and copy it from staging, deploy to staging. Here we go. So I can just edit it, and let me just run it. So I can disable this stuff, go here, and let's hide it. And I click force bake. I don't want to do anything. I just want to reuse previous build. If I click run, and so as you can see, you know, like new AMI is not gonna be baked. So it's because, like, you know, Spinnaker has this really powerful feature like AMI caching. So it means that you can you can build up your AMI that you would like to deploy to your like environment, right? And reuse it across different, promote it to different environments, to staging, to dev, to production. That's how it works. It's really nice. You know, the same stuff as we do with Docker, right? Because you just would like to one image to run them all. No, let's stop it. I don't want to deploy the new version here. So, and by the way, like, check it out. I think that welcome. Yeah, welcome Devoxx. Here we go. By the way, I think that we should have welcome as well, because currently we have 2 versions attached. Okay, no luck. So anyway, okay, let's get back to slides. And okay, me get this straight. So that's what we have for like VM-based deployment. So we have a pull request. We merge it to GitHub. So then like we have a GitHub webhook configured. Then Jenkins job is triggered. Jenkins actually builds a jar. Then it wraps it like in to RPM package, right? That RPM package is gonna be uploaded to YAM repository, which is hosted on S3. And then Spinnaker bake stage is triggered, and actually Spinnaker leverages Packer, and Packer is used to creating AMIs that is gonna be deployed to EC2 machine. And that Packer actually retrieves RPM packages from YAM repository and build an AMI, and that AMI is used to spin up your environment. So, and basically, Spinnaker creates new autoscaling group, and you may have 2 autoscaling group attached to the same load balance at the same time. So it's based on this like deployment. So I hope that it's clear. So let's check what's going on there. I see you can skip this. I'm not gonna wait. Yeah, currently you can see I have like 2 versions. Yeah, this one is because I deployed it to production. I think that's pretty much it for VM-based deployment. Guys, you with me? I hope so. So let's take a look at what is under the hood. So basically, Spinnaker is based on microservices architecture. So you can see there are around 10 microservices, and each service is responsible for different actions. So for instance, we have Orca is the orchestration engine, and we have Roscoe, it's bakery, and we have Kayenta. Kayenta actually provides canary analysis. So, and you can deploy your application, you can spin up a Spinnaker in different ways, using Docker Compose, using Kubernetes, using like Ubuntu. Yeah, I can currently show you what we have right now. Let me SSH to my machine. Show you, okay, system CK. So that's like systemd that I showed you previously, right? That's how it works. You can check out your services. And what is really great, if I open like, a Roscoe project and show you some stuff, let's check some logs. And we have some logs. Let's check it out. Sudo catch logs. Here we go. We have some, logs here, and I would like to check out. As you can see, here's how it's, how it calls Packer and some command. Let's take a look at the stuff. Job executor, local service. If I go to Roscoe and try to find it. So as you can see, right, it rings a bell because we guys, really are used to using Spring Boot application with Java Fox, and it's written in Java and in Groovy, as you can see, like in Groovy. So it means that it really helps us to troubleshoot, because if something goes wrong, sometimes, may happen, you can really easily just check out the project and try to kind of deep dive into the code and realize what went wrong. It's really nice and it's also based on as far as the Spring Boot applications, and all configuration can be done through YAML files. If I go here to my Spring Boot Clinic, yeah, and by the way, so everything, as I said, everything I showed you is here in the code, and you can use Terraform to spin up Spinnaker and Jenkins as well. I prepared it for you just, for free, free of charge. So you can spin up like Spinnaker or Jenkins in one command. So if I go here to HAL, default profiles, you can see that I have all this files, YAML files. If I go to, let's take a look at Roscoe local, as you can see, it's just a YAML file, right? Because it's Spring Boot application. And let's take a look at, we have AWS, enable it through, we have bakery, some details like base AMI, because we have a base image, or it's commonly called a golden image pattern. you can install some like basic style like Java to that golden image and reuse it. And for instance, if I go here to I don't like it. Let's configure, and we have AMI stuff. You can see this base OS, and it's like actually taken from here, from this file. Yeah, and written in Java. And by the way, if we go into a stage to my machine, let's go to cluster. Few details, I think we don't need it. Can destroy. So engineer just would like to stage to my machine. Let's copy it. More. Yes, of course. Why not? And systemctl status pet clinic, right? My service name is pet clinic. Yeah, as you can see, it's up and running. Yeah, like with the same way. So as I said, we just kind of like follow the practice that Netflix like invented, right? Not just like invented, they just decided to use this way, and we just reuse the same approach. Okay, and what about configuration? So if you just need to configure a Spinnaker, you can do it either like through YAML file directly, because you can just go here and change something, right, in the YAML file itself, or you can, or you can actually do it via Halyard. Halyard is a service that is like, is created to configure like Spinnaker. So for instance, I have some example how to integrate Slack with Spinnaker. You just need to add some define some environment variables, right? And you can call hal config notifications like it did, and you need to provide a bot name and token, Slack bot token. And then you just need to call hal config notifications like enable and hal deploy apply. And essentially what it does, it's actually like, Halyard just, makes this change to YAML files. So, but sometimes, like in order to enable Slack notification, you need to add some parameters to different YAML files. So that's why, like doing it via Halyard is safer. Okay, so, and one second, let me check Rollbacks pipeline, caching, and stuff. Okay, I think we can move on. So let's talk about Kubernetes integration. So basically, Spinnaker actually work with manifest-based deployment, provider v2, and the latest versions of Spinnaker. Yeah, by the way, currently I'm using 1.2.2.2. So, Spinnaker versions all manifest deployment for rollbacks. I previously showed you that it does it for VM-based deployment as well. So it provides some health monitoring of your apps in Kubernetes. You can use deployment rollbacks, and has CI tool integrations. It's really kind of integrates with Docker registry. And Helm, it can be used as well in customized integration. It has UI. So let me show you. The easiest way how you can play with Spinnaker is to kind of spin up it on your machine locally. I have a Minikube, which is not needed anymore. Minikube status. Installed on Minikube. Okay, let's go to IntelliJ. And we have mini namespace. Yeah, like Spinnaker, as you can see, all services here. And we can do the same stuff here. So Kubernetes, get Spinnaker. Yeah, here we go. So let's open it. Can get service Spinnaker. So we just need to go to deck. Okay, Minikube. Yeah. And we need to 3.3.3. Yeah, here we go. So as you can see, I installed it locally on my machine, right? And on Minikube. So if I go to applications, I have a Spring Pet Clinic here. It also provides this view to Kubernetes, right? I can see all my pods here, some details, get some details here. For instance, I would like to check out the logs. So here we go. I can get some logs from my application. You can also, undo some rollout stuff. If you just decide, okay, there's a bug, you can undo rollout. And we have some, view to replica sets. As you can see, Spinnaker adds some additional labels here. So, and the way how you have this integrated, let's take a look at pipelines. I think I don't need it. If I go here, we have a deployment pipeline. So, we have a automatic trigger Docker registry. I just kind of listen for a Docker image, it's called Spring Pod Cleaning Spinnaker. And whenever, I have my application updated, right? Whenever it's something changed, I mean a new image is pushed, this pipeline is triggered. Yeah, it's automatically kicked off. So because I have a trigger enabled. And so, actually Spinnaker just deploys my manifest. If I go here to deploy section, as you can see now, I have my account, Kubernetes local. I just need to provide a namespace, and here's my manifest. So ideally, right, it should be stored somewhere and provided as an artifact, but for demo purpose, I can have it here. And as you can see, there is this Spring expression language, spell. So we really know about that, we're familiar with this. So this is a way how you can change and specify the specific tags that you would like to deploy here. It means that, tags is gonna be retrieved from configuration phase. You can just say, okay, I would like to deploy this stuff. And if I go here to 0 and say start manual execution, I can just deploy, and I can specify which version I would like to deploy. So, and yeah, I can add a bake stage. If I go here and add some stage type bake manifest, and here we have all those render engines like Helm 2, Helm 3, and Customize. I don't need it. Remove stage. Here we go. I don't think it makes sense to launch it just to save time, right? You can do it by yourself. So, but I highly recommend you to play with it. Just install it locally, and that's it. Not a big deal. Okay, let's move on. Let me check if I didn't miss anything. Okay, here we go. So, and guys, one thing that I need to point out, don't think that, you can just take the tool and it will solve all your problems, right? It's just a tool. So, because I just prepared some hints for you from Captain Obvious, because, if you somehow miss it, I don't know, accidentally, read about 12-factor app. It's really important because you should understand how to configure your application, how to develop your application to be deployable, maintainable, and so on and so on. So, and there is a book, really nice. It's called Beyond 12-Factor App. And keep in mind that you should also think about how to write your code, and should be backward and forward compatible. I'm talking about APIs, database migrations, and to make it stateless whenever it's possible, and try to follow this practice like immutable infrastructure as a code. So, and this really, really good phrase, treat your servers like cattle, not pets. Yeah, that's really true. And there is a Red Hat Principles of Container-Based Application Design white paper, so I highly recommend to read about that. So let's sum it up. I think that Spinnaker has some advantages and disadvantages, right? It's just a tool, so nothing ideal, nothing is perfect. So, and let's talk about advantages. So we just got one tool to deploy to cloud services. So it means that we may have one tool. We just know how to deploy an application to AWS, and you can use the same tool to deploy to different clouds, to Google Cloud or to Azure, right? Because as I said, Spinnaker tries to abstract all this stuff. It's kind of on top of infrastructure. It provides this like application-centric view. And you can run multiple cloud providers at the same time, because like if you just need to have like 8 nines SLA, right, it makes sense to deploy application to different cloud providers. And Spinnaker provides best practice out of the box. That is actually one of the biggest like major features that it has, because you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to use it, follow this best practice, and kind of is like doing everything with minimal effort. And one thing that I need to add is that all these integrations that I show like with AWS, right? The same stuff can do with Kubernetes and Google Cloud. And actually, as I know, Google kind of worked with like Netflix to do the stuff with integration. So it means that you receive this integration from providers. So everything should work like really stable. It has developer-friendly UI, so it's super awesome. I'm really kind of keen on this UI because it's really kind of amazing, and engineers and developers really like it. Yeah, and in my experience. So, and written in Java and Groovy. And as far as we like most here Java developers, right? It's really nice that we can use this tool because it's written in Java and Groovy, and then we can easily troubleshoot. Because it's not a problem for us to deep dive into the Java code or Groovy code, and it's written in Spring Boot, guys. So it's stable. I can tell you that we have been using it for around like 1 year, like give or take. So, and it's really stable. So it's really nice. You just need to spend your time on like to configure it from scratch, and it's working really nice. It's super stable. So let's talk about disadvantages. So actually, like the first constant learning curve, right? That's not really easy. Like, especially like when you just try to install it from scratch, it's really hard, guys. I can tell you that, because you can watch different videos on YouTube, how many guys just using the Spinnaker and say, okay, this is really nice, just take it, give me 2, please. Yeah, but anyway, I can tell the installation from scratch is really hard. But you just need to play with it, and and then everything will be easy after that. Documentation could be also improved. Sometimes it's really hard to find something. I really like Armory documentation. It's even much better to me than like or Spinnaker docs, because you can find almost everything you need. I really like it. It's awesome, and it must be hosted. Because it's no cloud version of Spinnaker. Okay, I think you can use Armory, yes, but anyway, I don't think to be honest, it's a disadvantage. Sometimes it's really nice because in our case, because we can't use any cloud services, we can do this. I can actually remove fixed bugs in production. And so it's heavyweight, right? Because it requires at least like 12 gigabytes of RAM. Yeah, I can tell you that you can launch it with 8 gigabytes. That's what we do. Yeah. So, but anyway, because there are a lot of like microservices, and troubleshooting is hard sometimes. Yeah, because you can receive confusing error message, because sometimes you can say it's error and something went wrong. You can say, oh my God, what should I do with it? And this way is just to check the logs and maybe deep dive to the code base and try to find an error. So, and I think that's pretty much it what I had. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, and I also prepared some resources for you. This is like Spinnaker website and Armory docs are really awesome. Yeah, I highly recommend you to join Spinnaker Slack channel. You may find a lot of like useful information here, and it'll help me several times. So there is a book about Spinnaker, pretty small, like about 80 pages, something like this. And there are two different YouTube channels with a lot of like video resources about Spinnaker, and you can get some experience from different companies and so on, so on. So that's pretty much it, I believe. That's all I had for today. Thank you guys for joining. I'm really looking forward to receiving your questions.
Yes, thank you, Igor. Thank you so much for your talk and for joining our conference today. Since we have 5 minutes left, I will probably read one question we have in the chat for you. So the question is, why do you prefer to use native OS image for running web application? What is the profit if compared with common approach when jar file running inside Docker container is used?
Yeah. I can tell you. So, like, basically, as I said, we have monoliths, right? We have a monolith application, and like, we just decided to try it out. So, like, basically, Netflix suggests you to use it this way. Like deploying the stuff. Yeah, I also think that sometimes it's kind of really like verbose, because you need to have a jar, then you need to pack it in an RPM, and then you have an MEI, so kind of really sophisticated, because you can also deploy only jar. You don't need to even use like Docker. So, but I think it's worked really nice, and you can achieve all your like goals, like the same way, because you know how this stuff is sold, like use like Docker, right? You can just optimize some resources. You can have one image and deploy it to across different ones. I can do the same, guys, because I'm on AWS. I can have one MEI, deploy different ones. Yeah, it's not that fast. One of the biggest disadvantages of that it's, it actually let me check the pipeline. So it actually takes around 10 minutes to deploy, right? And we don't deploy really often. So we currently deploy maybe up to 10 times to staging environment per day and once to production. So it works very stable. We just decided to try it out. It's working nice. Why should I change something? Because, so what is the purpose, of that? I don't see any issues right now, because it's working stable, and fine. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Igor. Dear participants, you can join the Q&A Zoom room session with Igor and ask your questions if you have more of them, or to have a discussion with Igor on your issues that you have with continuous delivery and so on. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for supporting Devoxx Ukraine online this year, and we hope to meet you in person next year at Devoxx Ukraine.
Yeah, not at all, guys. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.